What? No, 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 no. No, 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 no. 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 I refuse. I refuse to believe any of that is true. No, 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 no. Are you actually trying to tie my brain into little knots to piss me off even more? Really? Is that what's happening right now? Oh, Jesus Christ. In a basket of kittens. Brian. Okay. 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 You've played your games. It was fun while it lasted. Not fucking really. So now just, let's just rein it back into the land of where it actually made sense, right? Yeah? But first and foremost, an R.I.P., a sweet and solemn and sincere R.I.P. to Brother Sam Wright. He was a marvelous character while he lasted. He was a great character. He got along with Dexter really, really well, in spite of their obvious differences in personal and private lives, and public and personal lives. But he was there for Dexter. He understood him in his times of darkness and in his hours of need. He really knew what Dexter. In some sense, he knew what Dexter was going through as a person with that darkness side of him. He respected Dexter despite his initial reluctance to have any faith, have any kind of religious faith, and he showed him the ways. He showed him how to have a bit more of an open mind, and he treated Dexter with an open mind. He took him into his own heart as a friend. So he was a fantastic character. Kudos, hats off to the actor himself for playing him so graciously. Oh, but God damn it! I think my pen might actually be ever so slightly bent from how much I was flexing it in anger, which I still am, which hasn't changed, but God damn it. Oh, jeez. And you know what? I actually started to feel sorry for Nick when that scene first came up. I started to feel sorry for Nick just a little bit until he realized, and until he himself realized, oh, yeah, those security tapes won't prove anything. Only witness is dead. They can't catch me. It's your word against mine, so I'm free. I killed a man. I can go back to the locos. I can, I can hold the title of murderer up on my head as a gangster and be respected among them, and all of that BS, right? And I knew that would be the last straw for Dexter. So so up until then, I was feeling somewhat sympathetic towards him, even though I was pissed as shit. I was feeling somewhat sympathetic towards him, but then as soon as those cries of remorse turned into tears of joy and bragging, I was like, fuck it, ready the table. This guy needs to go onto said table, be wrapped up in multiple sheets of plastic, so much that it cuts off his blood flow to any part of his body, and just toss him in the river. But no, Dexter went for the baptism 2.0 and just drowned him in the same river that he was baptized, which has a very, very sweet irony to it. Has a very, very sweet irony. But that scene in itself was very, very chilling. That was very chilling. That was him killing a man out of revenge, and it was him killing a man out of anger. You could see the anger building up in Dexter's face, and I could feel it building up in my wrist. And then he just charged at Nick, threw him into the river, and just drowned him right there and then. And then his face afterwards, just one full of darkness, and being like him saying there is no light in me. That just proves that the light was there because Brother Sam believed in it. Dexter has never in his life, never once in his life, believed that there was any light in him. He's been able to emulate light in front of other people, but he's never actually believed that there was ever any light in him. When Brother Sam came along, he was encouraged to believe that there was, and he did think about it, but his overall conclusion was that there was still no light in him. But Brother Sam was the only reason he even considered it. But now Brother Sam is gone. The one person he could actually try and get any understanding from is gone. That means that light is gone. Brother Sam was his light, a man once so full of darkness, changed by the light, and now so full of light that he gave others a piece of that light, a man of hope. And a man like that was taken off the earth, and that's gonna change Dexter. Like Dexter got to know a person like that. He actually got to know someone like that believed, no matter how evil people were, there had to be some light in them, and there still had to be some chance for redemption and stuff like that. So Dexter is someone who believes he's in need of redemption more than anyone, even if redemption is not the obvious path for him. But his friend, like that light, is gone, and therefore the light in him is confirmed to no longer be existent, even if it ever was. But that ending, like Brian coming back, that creeped me out. That scared the shit out of me, because that also means now that Dexter can happily confirm that there is no light in him. The light in him was Harry. Harry was the only other one guiding him. Harry was the one keeping the idea of the code alive in his head, and just being the version of Harry that Dexter knew when, during the time that Harry was gone. Harry was his internal light, like the light that he never actually identified as a light. He only ever knew Harry as the man who made the code and turned Dexter into who he is today. He never saw him as a light after everything he taught him and everything he did. So now Harry is gone, and now he can happily admit that there is no light in him anymore. It's just darkness. Who's the other source of darkness in his family he knows? Brian, the eye struck killer. So now that darkness is allowed to reign free and burst out of its cage, as is Brian. So now I feel like we're going to be seeing Brian, making his return in, as Dexter's actual dark side, like encouraging him to go out and kill and be brutal and be bloody and be ruthless in the way that he does things and be evil in the way that he does things. And Dexter might start acting up in light of Sam's death. Like to others it might just look like he doesn't know how to handle grief after losing someone like that. But I think it will just be his darkness going reckless in light of Sam's death and in light of losing a friend like Sam. So that's going to be interesting to see, but that caught me off guard. That caught me so off guard. But yeah, Brian is back in that sense. So Brian has burst out of his cage and shoved Harry into the cage. Oh, but damn, God freaking damn it. That caught me off guard. That caught me off guard. What else? So yeah, it was Nick all along. Nick, I have zero sympathy towards him now. He said it himself, he always thought Brother Sam was full of shit, and he thought the faith was full of shit, and that he thought, none of that stuff was right, and that, he sounded like he expected it to be a case of, oh, you believe in God and all of your problems will be fixed and all of this will go right and all of that stuff. He spoke as if he didn't really believe in having to put any effort or much effort in himself. He thought, oh, you do one thing, God will do the rest of the 99 things for you, so that all 100 things will be done. He didn't realize that, as a person, he still had to actually make a change and use the opportunities God gave him and all of that stuff from Sam's perspective as well. He thought, oh, I'll just follow in Brother Sam's lead and everything will go right. I don't really have to do anything of my own accord or do anything like that I think is right. I just do whatever Brother Sam tells me. I just do whatever, that stuff is, and everything's gonna go right, and all of that stuff. But then he realized, oh, that's not really how life works, and instead of actually taking his own fucking initiative, he decided, oh, Brother Sam's wrong, crime is the real way, I'm gonna be a gangster with the locos and all of that stuff. So he went back to them, and then they gave him the mission of actually killing Sam. And I had my doubts when Dexter went to the candle lighting thing, and Nick said that he wasn't gonna snitch on the locos or on Leo. Like I had a feeling like, dude, like Brother Sam was your mentor, and he's hospitalized because of something the locos potentially did, and you're saying you're not gonna grass on the prime suspects. Like, really? Wow, okay, so I mean that kind of puts you in the mark for like some suspicious activity. But I had my doubts since then, and I didn't really know where to go forward with them. But then like Nick just proved. I think in previous episodes Nick actually seemed to he seemed like he was doing well, but then I think like the few times we saw Nick were the few times he was actually those few times were the few times that he was actually doing something good after being told to by Brother Sam, or after finding out that, oh, it's not just about being baptized or blessed, it's about actually using your life to do some good, and actually doing some good on your own intention, and actually using your own intuition and all that stuff. And then by the time because Sam even brought him back after he was just laying around in his house smoking weed all day, like doing nothing, and essentially wondering why his life had gone to so much shit. But then I think he was still stuck in that mindset of actually thinking, oh, I just got to do one thing that some person tells me, and then I just lounge around, and then just wonder why everything's not why nothing's working out for me, and then at the end of the day just blame it on someone else and go back to the parts where I actually do something, even if it's a bad thing. So yeah, Nick, no R.I.P. for him. No R.I.P. for him. He killed Sam, and he was a little shit. So yeah, that's that. Leo Hernandez, Julio's gang, Locos, Flamingo. We have learned, thanks to Mike Anderson, that Flamingo in Chicago is when you handcuff a person's hand to their foot so they can no longer travel on foot as accurately as they used to. So it's a pretty funny sight. So yeah, but yeah, Nick is also a friggin' Judas, which I think Dexter already established beforehand. So it would have been, I think it would have been really nice as well. Like if I mean, well, Dexter knew what a Judas was because he called Nick out for being a Judas. So I think it would have been pretty funny for Dexter to have given Nick 30 pieces of silverware, like 30 like 20 forks and 10 knives or something like that, or just like 30 pieces of silverware, and being like, do you know what this means? It means you're a Judas. Do you know what that means? It means you're a fucking traitor. You killed Sam, you piece of shit. Like something along those lines of giving him like those pieces of silverware would have been would have been a nice little puzzle to watch Nick try and solve out. But yeah, Nick is a friggin' Judas. What else? Travis, my guy Travis. So we went down different paths here. Like Nick started off as a good guy, and he just ended up being a little shit. And Travis started out being the bad guy, and ended up actually doing the right thing. After like almost an hour of pleading with him to do so, he actually ended up doing the right thing. So yeah, I think I mean I kind of had a feeling he would anyway, because I think the entire episode he was second guessing it. Like from the start of the episode, he was second guessing it himself. He was like, like just kind of like subtle, like just relaying it to Geller, being like, oh, the woman's got a broken arm, we should give her painkillers, and then stuff like that. And then Geller was just an arsehole, being like, oh no, she's the whore of Babylon, she needs to suffer like this for how she sinned and all that stuff. Cannot wait to see Geller on the table, by the way. But Travis, he has changed his ways. I think even towards the end, he wanted to release her all along, and I think he was, I think he didn't he was wondering if I think before it was him wondering if he actually had the strength to kill anyone, but I think this time it was more of a case of that, but also wondering if he actually had the strength to go against Geller and actually release someone. But this time he actually did go with the latter. He did take the girl, probably fed her beforehand. He took the girl. He left her the food, yeah. But took the girl, but without branding her, and then took her to the side of a road, and then just freed her from. I get why he didn't take her blindfold off, because then that would have increased the risk of her actually running straight to a police station and giving in his description. But at least, the arm thing was there because she broke her arm, so he actually binded it up. But that makes sense then. Yeah, the eye thing he did so that she wouldn't see his face, and then she could probably take it off as well. Assuming her, I think were her hands tied? I can't remember. I remember her having a bandage around one because you were broken, but I don't know if her hands were actually tied like that. I think maybe he should have, if they were, then he should have taken those off, but then leave the eye mask and the banding on. But actually, give her once you drive away, give her a chance to actually take off the blindfold and actually see where she's going and all that stuff. But Travis did set a woman free, so, first of all, good job on Travis, but second of all, Geller's gonna find out about it, and Geller's gonna be annoyed as hell, as all hell. This isn't gonna sit well in Geller's book. He's gonna be very, very annoyed, very, very angry. He even left him with, quite a sinister warning, if you go against this, then you'll be destroyed as well, and, do the marks by the time I get back, or else, or something along those lines. But he was noticing that Travis was becoming more and more distant from this whole Revelations mission, and distant from the goal of God. And he did start becoming more stern with him and more strict, noticing that he was becoming more distant. So this is gonna be the final straw. You've released the whore of Babylon. How could you? But yeah, that's not going to sit well with Geller, so we will see how and when and if Travis sticks around to face the consequences of that later. I highly doubt he's going to pull off a whole she attacked me and escaped kind of trick, because for one thing, she was probably malnourished, for another thing, she was greatly injured, and for another thing, she had, this is tied to the second other thing, but she had a broken arm, so there's not really much she could have done to attack Travis and get away from them at the same time, so Geller would very, very easily call bullshit on that one. But if he sticks around, then he better have a damn good excuse, but otherwise he's going to be running for his life and hoping Geller doesn't find him. But they brought his sister back in for this one at the school that she teaches, because Travis went to visit her and stuck around with the kids as well. Found out about some of their hopes and dreams, becoming a nurse. Someone wanted to become a nurse. Someone wanting to become, I think I saw a picture of a train driver. And another kid wanting to become a transformer. So yeah, hey, everyone has dreams. Everyone, some people at some stages realize that some dreams are more attainable than others. He can always dress up as a transformer. That's still 100%, 100% accurate. You can still dress up as a transformer. There are some great transformer cosplays out there. I actually saw a really good Optimus Prime at last year's Comic-Con. Was it Comic-Con? I can't remember, but I do remember seeing a really, really a Thanos-sized Optimus Prime, from a convention somewhere last year. A whole video went trending on Twitter and stuff. But yeah, that's still possible, and the girl can become the nurse, the other girl can become a train driver, the boy can become a fully fledged transformer, probably not flying in the skies and shit, not transforming in the sky. But anyway, but that was cool to bring them back. So I feel like they brought her back, one, to remind us that she's still around, and two, because of all this second guessing that Travis is having, I feel like he might be planning some kind of escape. Like, they're not making it obvious yet, but I feel like in his head he is planning some kind of escape, because if he's second guessing himself, he's not gonna want to stay. So if he's planning an escape, Geller likely knows that he has well, no, Geller does know that he has a sister, I think. Doesn't he? Yeah, he does. Yeah, I think it was from like the first or second episode that he warned Travis against seeing his sister because she was a sinner too of some sort. So, Geller definitely knows he has a sister, and he definitely eyes her as a sinner. So, should he escape, he's gonna want to take his sister with him, Lisa, I believe her name is. So, because like if he leaves and just leaves her behind, then Geller is very, very easily going to use her to try and bring him back and use her as bait. So, should he try and attempt an escape, he's going to he's going to take Lisa with him so that she'll be safe as well. But I feel like that might be the route we're headed down here. Travis might be planning an escape, but I feel like that's still on the open air. He like right now, I mean, because at the same time, it's not safe for him to go back after what he did. He released the girl, so that's not going to cross well in Geller's book. Geller's probably going to punish him very, very severely, possibly even with death. But he's not going to want to stick around. He's not going to want to go back just to see what happens. And the way he's second guessing, he clearly doesn't want to be a part of this. He doesn't want to have to do this. He knows, some part of him knows this is wrong, no matter how long he's been doing this. So he's I think he is second guessing in the sense that he just doesn't want to stay here. He wants to retreat and just leave this whole operation and leave Getter to suffer the legal consequences of his actions on his own. So yeah, that's not going to sit well with him, but we will see exactly how well Travis's escape goes. So the Inezarite, I think Batista said, was a cult following the Book of Revelations, and they believed that the tableaus, or like the drawings, like the deaths, were all part of some kind of Doomsday end of the world code. And Geller was the one who believed that he had deciphered the code using the tableau. So the tableaus, the crime scenes he was producing, were the keys like to enacting, the tableaus are the enactment of the enactment. Is that a word? You know what? It's like half 1 in the morning. I don't care anymore. Enactment is. Well, the tableaus are the enactment of these keys. So like what locks on a door that basically open up the Doomsday thing. Yeah. Reminds me of how Lucifer's thing worked in Supernatural, like the 66 seals, like on the door. Like you 600 seals, you break 66 of them, and you free Lucifer from his cage. I think that's how it went. Yeah. It's been ages since I saw season 4, so if I get it wrong, forgive me, but reminds me of that. So the tableaus are the enactment of the keys, and the keys unlock the Doomsday. So he's not trying to warn people. Well, he's not just trying to warn people. He's actually trying to bring about Doomsday, because I think Doomsday itself, I think that has something to do with the reaping, right? Is that what it's called? Judgment Day. So it's like when the sinners are judged against the saints, like the good and the bad are judged against each other, and like the sinners get killed and sent straight to hell, and then the saints get lifted up to heaven for believing in God and following the word of God so accurately and all that shit. So he's actually trying to bring about Doomsday. I mean, whether or not they actually allow it to happen is up for debate. But that is that is Geller's endgame here. Doomsday is his endgame. But whether that particular endgame like runs its full-on 3-hour runtime, we shall see by the finale. But those are the goals of Professor James Geller. What else? Quinn, not even Travis anymore. Quinn is a freaking mess. He's an absolute mess. Screwed it up with Carissa Porter. And you know what? I thought he matured. I really thought he matured and moved on from all that stuff. But no, he has to really, he has to accuse Deborah's feelings of professionalism whilst working a case with feelings of jealousy because he fucked another woman. Just, as soon as he said that, I was just like, dude, come on, we've been over this. She has a new job, there's a lot on her plate, including you being a 20-something-year-old freaking man-child about all of this right now. And then to make it worse, he shows up to her party drunk, and then hits on Angel's sister, which is a very, very bad sign in itself, and goes even further, saying he wants to have babies in a relationship with her. That one punch from Batista to knock his ass on the ground was beautifully executed. Like he didn't even need to wind up and throw it. He didn't even need to grab him by the collar and boom, just like boom, down on the ground, pound town. It's like he gave him a warning. He did give him a warning. He said, dude, that's my sister, and you're drunk, you're saying a lot of bad shit right now, so just knock it off. And he's like, no, I want to have babies in a relationship with her. Boom, just out for the count. Just beautifully done by Angel, beautifully done. But I mean, he was just a dick during that entire scene, just being a dick to Jamie, to Lewis, to Batista. He deserved that. He needed that punch to the face, and then he asked Deb if she ever loved him. Like, he's too caught up in his own idea of what romance is and wanting that idea to be so real that he doesn't actually he doesn't pay attention to how other people feel. Like the whole proposal thing, he was ready for it, Deb wasn't, and he just couldn't accept that. He had to think that his feelings somehow mattered over her own. Like, sure, he was ready for it, and he just thought, oh, then if she doesn't want to marry him, then surely that must mean that there's no one else in the world that he can actually wait for and meet with, and move down that path. Like, sure, he wanted Deborah, but she didn't want that, and then to make things worse, he assumed that her taking up the role of lieutenant was easy for her, and that she chose that over him, and that she just chose like a higher salary and a promotion over a lifetime with him. He's been constantly kind of undermining other people's feelings, and he's just been thinking that his idea of life is what life must be, and if other people don't have that idea, then he will either force it into them, or he will just start being a dick towards them, and just accusing them of being horrible to him, and just make life hell for them, and just let them just make them blame themselves for everything. Like, he's becoming annoying, more like, just first and foremost, he's becoming an annoying little shit. But yeah, this housewarming party really took him to a whole other level. But yeah, Quinn is a mess, but it's good to see that Deborah is able to admit that she's a mess, but is also getting the right help for it. It's good to see her getting therapy with Michelle. Good to see that she's considering actually calling her up and getting more outside of office hours potentially. So at least one of them is actively trying to sort themselves out, but the other is just waiting for everyone else to catch up with them, and just thinking that the way that they're living life must be so right and so perfect and everything. But yeah, Quinn is a mess. He is a downright mess. But yeah, that is pretty much all I have. But yeah, I think Dexter is headed down a path of pure darkness, I think now. I don't know for how long, but I think he is headed down a path of darkness after having killed Nick. So it doesn't look too good for him, but I am still looking forward to seeing how he how he goes forth through this and how he deals with the mental return of his brother Brian. I'm actually interested to see Brian back as well. It's weird seeing him outside of season 1, but you know, this was very, very briefly. He had like one line, so it's not really much. But by the next episode, we should be seeing a lot more of him. So I am intrigued. But you know, Brian, I remember him back in season 1. I loved his character. He was so cool, and just like it was such a big twist for me as well. Like, oh crap! Like the big bad of this season is Dexter's like long lost family. Jeez, wow. And then it just kept on expanding and expanding from there, and it just went on. It was just mind-boggling, honestly. So seeing Brian back is weird, but I am excited for it. I am interested to see how they pull that off, because he does seem like a dark version of Harry, like the version of Harry that just goes against everything that Harry ever stood for. So you know, it's going to be interesting to see how that plays out, and how Dexter moves on through life without Brother Sam. But again, R.I.P. to Brother Sam. R.I.P. to Brother Sam. He was a great man. He was a good man, and he tried his best with everyone. He spread his light through everyone he met, Dexter being the most recent one. And he had a great run. So hats off to the actor again for playing him so well. If I had a fucking hat. But yeah, that is pretty much all I have for this one. So yeah, that was Dexter season 6, episode 6, titled Just Let Go. So thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you guys enjoyed it, then salt and burn that like button. Comment on what you thought of the episode and what you think is coming up next for Dexter with the new return of Brian. And yeah, that's it. So I will see you guys next time.